Hi. Good afternoon, Lalit. Good afternoon, Veena and Josna. It is my honor and pleasure to welcome you all for this session, and especially welcome Lalit, who is a personal friend of mine, as well as we have worked together for several years. They have supported US India Business Summit. And with this, I will turn over this part of the interview to Veena.
Thank you, Annie and Lalit ji. Welcome to NRI Pulse. I'm Veena Rao, editor of NRI Pulse, and we also have our City News editor Jyotsna Hegde with us. So without much ado, let's get started with the questions. Congratulations, Mr. Dhingra, Lalit
Thank you.
on the release of your book. I don't know if you remember, but I had last interviewed you in 2005 at your office in NIT, where you were the top boss. So, what has changed since then, and why this book?
Interestingly, from 2005 to 2018, where the NIT was doing pretty good, and I think the US did pretty well. So then there was a change in thought process of the company to trying to cash out and sell it to private equity. And there was a change of management at India. So then I decided not to work for private equity for, that's my thought process.
Mm.
And I decided to leave and start something of my own. So I started the consulting management and IT consulting company, not on the lines of an IT, but more of helping the small to medium and startup companies as an advisor and helping them on talent search and helping them on talent strategy, more of that. And then when I was talking to many small companies and the close friends who were running their companies, they were asking some basic fundamental questions of how to set up solutioning companies, how to take company to the next level. And the major thing I found that there was a lack of leadership or guidance given in the company to grow it. And I was just sharing what I have gone through from 1997 in the US to till I left NIIT, and there is a huge learning for me. So I was thinking that maybe whatever I've learned, whatever stories I have, can I put it on a piece of paper and share? Maybe more than these few friends who are asking to help them out, it can be broader. So that's, I think, the broader audience is can reach through the book. So that's why this book, and I was recalling all my time in NIT before that, how my childhood was, and I said, how can I connect all these things together as the leadership lessons for me, how what I learned. That's the book, and and the kind of person I am. A lot of people have told me that you're always driven, so that's why the name Driven came up. That um, I don't get lost in things. I mean, when I even if I lose, I stand up and start again. So that's why this topic Driven, and that's why there are leadership challenges, how I came across those challenges, how I fixed those things in the company, and how I moved.
So, since we are on the topic of challenges, and I'm sure you've, um, overcome several of them during your career, what were the challenges of launching your book, writing and launching the book? How long?
So number of them. You probably know this publishing word more than I know. Um,
Yes,
so
it took me 10 years to publish
yeah,
my.
I can see that. That's what I'm saying. You know more than I know. Um, it's so the challenge is first. I mean, I used to write blogs. I mean, that was my hobby apart from working. I used to do writing on the technical stuff. And in my childhood, I used to write the small stories, generally fiction. You know, just write some 3 pages of fiction, and um, And the writing was in my, I just wanted to do it. That's why, something you have fire in the belly to do it, something. So when I start writing the book, I didn't know how tough it is going to be. So because I write one chapter and I feel it's not what it should be in the book, rewrite it. So I might have written the book some 8, 10 times. I mean, to be honest with you. And then how to connect the pieces together, chapters together was a challenging thing. I mean, to make sure that, is it making sense? Um, so those were the kind of challenges when you write. And then I used an editor who helped me in editing the book,
Okay.
probably from English perspective. But actually what happened is this lady was primarily editing the novels. So she was trying to change the meanings of what I wanted to say uh,
Mm.
from a leadership perspective or a management or a business book perspective. So it was a longer process with her than it should have been with a person who's already edited the management books. So, but I think, and then self-publishing, doing the research, finding the right. I don't know whether Amazon is the right one or not, but
Mm.
I found from different perspective, from platform perspective, from the royalty perspective, they are the better one than the other self-publishing books were. I mean, I didn't want to do a hardcover book, so it was easy decision to go with ebook and paperback with Amazon, and they have 80% of the market share.
Did
So
you?
that's why I went with them. The learning in the sense that I have now deeply involved in the process that I can give consulting to the people, say what to do in the self-publishing world, because I've talked to many people. Um, but it was challenging. It was more, I thought it would be easier, but it was not.
So how long did the whole process take?
Writing the book, I mean, from beginning to the end, 14 months.
14.
Uh,
Okay.
First six
Ever
months,
consider going the traditional route, finding a publisher?
that takes a year.
Yeah.
Somebody's got to publish your book, right? I didn't want to do that.
Okay.
Um, and see, the whole concept of the book is a common man journey to the leadership. It's not, I'm not known to the world. I'm known to few people. That's what I always believed. Actually, when my wife was joking, who's going to read your book? At least I said, you will read it, if nobody else.
Yeah.
So,
We'll read it too.
so so it was that kind of a, thinking that it's a common man who's doing something, trying to bring the thoughts together. um, and I talked to the Indian guy, the Rupa and company, I think,
Yes.
in India.
Uh-huh. Yes.
And everybody said, yeah, we'll do it, we'll do this and that, we can work it out. It's in India, they don't have anything major going on in the US. So I think Amazon was worldwide. The only thing was a paperback is not available in India. So I didn't go the traditional route of publisher. I wanted to do self-publishing,
Okay.
and that's the way I went.
Right. So this morning I revisited my interview with you in 2005.
Hmm.
And something caught my attention. Back then, you had told me that it's not just apart from hard work and luck, one has to be at the ground level to reach the top.
Hmm.
So, for the benefit of our readers, can you talk a little bit about what you meant by leading from the ground level? And is that
Uh,
something you've included in your book?
yeah, that is, the whole book is about the human and the soft traits of a leader. So my basic fundamental at that time, I mean, from 2004 to 2021, I've become more mature than what I was. But the fundamental concept remains the same, that being human. So I always believe that when you're in a company, you're in a top position, you are always looked at how well you have done from a business perspective. So everybody look at you and say, okay, you have successful because you've taken the company from here to here. So it's a profitable company. It has grown. Um, Nobody cares in the world how you reached it, right? When you're running at a ground level, it means that you need to know how you reach where you want to reach. It's not what you achieved. It is about how you achieved it. So the, my thinking is that being a people person, being a person who's responsible for the people and takes care of them in the process of achieving success is more important for a leader than just getting the results. So, so when you're leading from the ground or you're at the ground, you are basically with the people with whom you work with. You understand their pains, their challenges, and then you work towards handling those situations. And I've done that from 97 onward till I left the company.
Mm.
And that's what I've written in the book. Results do matter, but how you achieve results is matter more. Um, Technology and the business matter more sometime, but in my opinion, because technology is in the hand of people, the people matter more. So so that's the concept of mine. I mean, this is again some of my, I don't know, you know Sam Petroda, right? I mean,
Yes.
everybody knows that. So I used to work very closely with him, and one of the things he used to say, Lalit, winning the war is important, but for a journal, winning the war is important, as well as he doesn't want to win the war with all the soldiers dead. So you don't want that everybody's dead and you are standing there with a flag on. It doesn't make any sense. So for me, from that point onward, I looked at the people element more than uh, the results. Maybe NIIT could have been $50 million more than what it was, but I think we were fairly good. I mean, they could sell it for $1.2 billion. That's not bad. So I still feel that we achieved the results. We had very good people policies. We took care of people. We were, but no nonsense in the sense that obviously the business was governed pretty well. So that's what I meant when I told you about, um,
Right.
the ground.
And that's one of the hardest things, dealing with people, right? And that's something we grapple with in every field, no matter what field we are in. So what are your top, very quickly, top tips for dealing with people?
Be honest, truthful with people. That's the that's the mantra. Be clear, straightforward. Uh, there are no two faces. So you have to tell the hard decisions, you have to tell the soft decisions, whichever it is, but tell the way you want. I mean, I want to, but be truthful. You can't tell lies to people. Dealing with people is very straightforward truth. That's my mantra. Have been my mantra for long. Sometimes people say, that you can't be successful as an entrepreneur because you cannot do that. So I said, okay, I mean, doesn't matter, but I will be like that. So, so that's have been my the trait, and that's what I wrote in my book also. Be truthful. Don't tell lies. Deal with the people as you can't deal with people as assets. You know, deal with people as being as human as possible.
Right. Jyotsna?
Okay. Doing the things, doing the right things instead of doing things right, that seems to be the theme of your book. So could you please elaborate on that, Mr. Dhingra?
That is not actually the total theme of this. Is one of the thing. Again, this is what I learned from my mentors. So when we say doing right things means you're always thinking to do new things and the right for the companies or right for anybody, right? And that is what we call in business words called strategic thinking, that you're doing the right things for a company. And doing things right is that some people have made mistakes and you are at a transaction level fixing those things, right? So as a leader, the job is to do right things rather than fixing things. So let others who come with you because you hire people in your company, let them do the fixing things first and then go to the right things. So that is how the ladder is. So once you reach at a leadership level, you should always think about new things. think about doing right things. So that is what it means by, in that chapter I mentioned about um, this dialogue,
You have been at the helm of the IT industry, for 40 years, and 28 years of which, you were at NIIT, right? So I have a couple of questions about that. So, in the industry where, people change jobs, especially in India now, every 6 months, every year, it's almost like a given that they're going to change their job. Like, would you advise folks to sort of stick with a company, or, or not? And why is that?
I think so. So that I will answer in two phases, right? One is that why did I stay that long, wherever I stayed, and the second is what's my advice to the people. So why I stayed long, because I like what I was doing first, and the second, and I was growing myself. I felt growing. The growing doesn't mean in money all the time. Growing means that you're doing, again, when I say doing right things, I was doing newer things all the time. I was in a company which was education company. I came and started software. So that's a new thing for the company. I successfully did that in India, starting from me only to 400 people before I went and set up London office, Singapore office, and then came and set up and stayed in the US, right? So when I came to the US, then it was a new thing for me. I was learning there. I have never experienced doing sales, marketing, and delivery all together. I mean, that's what I thought. It's a new thing for me. Then new challenges came. Then how you restructure the company? Then the company became separate organization. So every time, every 3-4 years, I was getting an opportunity to do different things. I bought companies, I merged them in, and I did larger deals for the company. So every time I felt that I'm learning so much. Why should I look for something? If I go out, people will give me maybe $50,000, $100,000 more, but that is not important for me. So that's why I stayed long. And as long as my values, my core values, and the company's values were aligned, which is fine. When company's core values said, okay, now we want to sell it to private equity, we want to get a different guy who's not a people person, that's fine. Then the company wants to go in that form, and I can leave and do something else. I would have joined another company, or I will do something else. So my advice is, as long as you enjoy, whether it's a long term or a short term, right? If you are not enjoying the company or enjoying the work you are doing in a company, or not, your values are not aligned with the company values, then you should leave. People leave. I know my own children and my own family kids. I mean, they keep changing jobs, but they have different thinking. I mean, whether they take my advice or not is not important. But my advice is always do it as long as you enjoy it. And as if you are giving back to the society, giving back to the company, and doing right things, then stick around and do as long as you can. And you know, so money is secondary for me. A lot of people, the money is important. I get 70,000. Can I get 90,000? Can I get 120,000? And the people shift. Now today the world is going towards what is there for me in it, from financial perspective first, because people believe we know everything. I can move from here to here pretty quick. Maybe I was a little dumb. I took me time to learn things. I mean, that's what I can say. But generally, that's my mantra. Stick around as long as you enjoy it.
This is also related to NIT. I have to mention, you were one of the few people, one of the few leaders, especially around the turnaround of the Y2K, right? Most companies sort of focused on the Y2K problem, but you were one of the few leaders who sort of redirected that energy towards e-commerce and all of that. So, your decisions were very different. So, given that 28 years of in NIT and taking decisions like that, what was your biggest takeaway from NIT as a leader?
So the first, I didn't regret Y2K decision. I mean, a lot of people say, I stuck with it, and I had a reasoning for it, that what I did. I think NIT was a great company for me. And it was great value. Still, because if you look at NIT education and the university, what is being done, the leaders have done a great job there. Um, Obviously, the software company, once you sell it to private equity, it becomes, different thing. But I enjoyed my 28 years with them. I really admire the leaders, and I was one of the leader of the company. I mean, who set it up. So we had some principle, and we stuck to that principle. We never changed it. So I think that is one thing good about the companies, because we never changed from what we call NIT's people. Um, and we even invested a lot of money in making that vision correct for everybody in the organization. That NIT's people come first, nothing else. In US, I mean, it was, sometimes we used to have clashes with some of the board members and say, why you're doing this, why you're spending so much of money on healthcare for the people and all those things, whereas companies like Wipro and Infosys are not even spending 60% of what you are spending. So, but you stuck to your gun and say, okay, no, because if people are successful, people are taken care of, the companies will become successful. So I think that's what I admire. I mean, I got resistance, but I was never questioned on those things. So that's what my takeaway from NIT is great company. I had a great run for 28 years, and I didn't leave on a bad terms. I mean, I just wanted to do something else in my life, not challenging my own core values. So that's the reason.
Right. Very quickly, Jyotsna, you say that leadership is a journey with no destination. Is that in your book? I don't know where I found that. But we are all psyched into believing that everything in life has an end goal, right? We're all rushing towards something. There's some end goal. Where will I see myself in 5 years, or where will I be when I'm 40 or 50? So, what is your interpretation of leadership, and why does it not have a destination?
See, because you can do many things at many time in your life. So the leader is not, experienced person only. So the leadership starts from a student itself, because a student can be a leader in doing things what the students believe they can, he or she can achieve. So every time when you pick up something and try to do different kind of things with it, you do extraordinary stuff, students do, youngsters do, and then when people become the leaders in a business, they do it, entrepreneurs do it. So every time you learn new thing, when you do something good, you find that there is way to learn more and more. When I left NIT, just give you an example. When I started writing the book, when I wrote the statement of leadership, the journey is never ends. All right. So I was like boss of maybe 5,000 people across the globe, and I had management team of 50 people in the US, and my things are getting done. I mean, if I just say do this, people will just do it for me. Right? And I was directional setter, strategical advisor to my people. When I started my own business, I was back to what I was 28 years back. Right? I was restarting it. I was doing my own computer setting. I was doing everything myself. And in doing that, there is a huge learning which I had in the first 6 months of my starting the business. Then I was advisor to two startups here in Atlanta. Then I was fractional CTO for another startup. I was advising a mid-sized manufacturing company for PPE, and I mean, I was doing five, six things in the last 18 months. Everything was a different and a new challenge, and there was a new learning it, and it was different than what I was doing. Now I wanted to shift from one leadership to another leadership of an advisory, which I was doing. So now there was challenges, there was learnings, and then you have to succeed in that. So you may fail in some, you may succeed in some, but in the end, you have to you have to achieve something in doing what you're doing new than what you were doing in the past. So now I am now shifting gear. I'm building a product now. I've never built a product. I have I'm innovated a product. I'm building a product. Now I'll take that into market. There'll be different challenges. Then there'll be different kind of leadership needed for managing that. So I believe that throughout your life, you will keep finding new challenges for yourself, and then the new leadership challenges will come up. You will learn more and more. Um, the learning never ends. So I'm learning from my grandkids now. I mean, they come here and they say something. I try to figure it out. What are they talking about? And then that never ends. I mean, I do a lot of non-for-profit stuff, and now I was not doing that much. When you're doing from a company, that's a different than when you're doing individually, then you're a different thing, right? So I'm finding every day there's a new learning, and that's a journey. Where it ends, I don't know. So that's what I say. In my opinion, never ends, because you may go before that your learning goes, unless and until you get into a medical situation that you know. But generally, I mean, that's my feeling. I don't know. I learn every day. I enjoy every day. I look at it things in a different perspective.
Right.
Not the perspective that I achieved. I mean, nobody's arrived. I don't think so.
No. It's an
That's
ongoing
my thing.
process. Yes.
Yeah. So, Mr. Dhingra, so do you think, in your opinion, is a person like a born leader? Is there something inherent in a person that makes him a leader, or is it something that can be sort of shaped into? A person can be shaped into.
It's a very, very tough question. So, um, so there was a question about leaders are born or leaders are made, right? My opinion is leadership is neither born nor can be taught. There are some fundamentals in a person. So the experience teaches apart from that. So you can go through all the courses of leadership. You will not, that doesn't mean that you'll become a leader. It's tough. It's not going to happen. You may learn from it or you may not learn from it. Or there are some leaders who will get the leadership positions, but they don't have the traits of a leader. You will see those examples also. So you will find all these kinds of leadership challenges across the world, actually. I mean, whether you take political leadership or you take leadership in business, both are, I mean, there's a lot of connections. So you have to be very careful in saying where the leaders are born. Their actions define and create a leader. So we see even Hitler was a leader, right? But his actions were wrong. Right. So he was called a negative leader or whatever, but he was a leader. He was position of a leadership. Mahatma Gandhi was also a leader. Right. But his action defined what kind of leader he is. He was not born as a leader. He finds something wrong. He tried to fix it. Right. And he acted on it. So anybody who acts on in the path to reach leadership, that's experience. That's the experience which makes you a leader. So there are that's what my philosophy is. It's all through experience. It's not that I wanted to become a leader when I joined someplace. I didn't want to be. I mean, where I am, but I wanted to do the right things. So I took a path to do the right things, and which put me in that leadership position, because some people thought he's doing the right things. That's why he's given a chance to become a leader. So nobody's born as a leader, and nobody can teach you the leadership. There will be classes. You go to Harvard, go to everywhere. There'll be huge leadership classes. This is a big subject, but what do they do there actually? I mean, I went through myself for 3 weeks in Michigan, and they only give you the videos of some of the leaders, right? And say, okay, write down a summary of what do you think they are. So I can sit down and stand in front of the mirror and say, what did I do wrong and what did I do right? And then if I do more rights than the more wrongs, then maybe I'm on the right side of leadership. If I did more wrong than the right, then I'm the wrong side of the leadership. So that's how it works. This is how I look at it. Yeah, there's a theory behind it, but you know.
Everyone's journey is different, right? So, so according to you, Mr. Dhingra, so what do leaders have? What is the qualities, according to you, that make a good leader?
The leader is one who can communicate the ideas um, in a way that you can understand. Not that you have to be a great English speaker, right? You have to be, so you are able to communicate your thoughts to your people, to anybody very clearly. That is one. Second, you should be able to inspire the team. You're not able to, you should not be directing the team. You should be inspiring the team to do things. In the sense that you can say, look, I had to make this room, right? So either you can stand there and say, okay, how to make the room, guys, you work and make this room. So the other is that you can say, we are going to make a beautiful room, guys, just go and make this. This would be a great place for us to live. Now the people are inspired to make it because they can see a vision in them. So a leader is one who can give the vision very clearly to his people and then to inspire them to do it. So those are the things which are important for a leadership. And then I told you the human things, being a people person, being truthful, that's important. Building relationship is important. That how he or she makes relationships. Most important aspect of any successful leader is how well the person makes the relationships and carry it for longer duration of time. So, and then there are certain values the person brings in inside, not keeping grudges with all the time with you for people, and just be a normal. I mean, as that's what I believe. These are the traits. Rest is now people say, okay, digital world, what do you think? Yeah, in the digital world is that you have to be agile, you have to be careful what you're taking decisions. You have to be very, very nimble, very active in taking calls. And stick with your decisions. You can't be changing it every day.
Right.
So what drives, were you going to say something, Veena?
Go ahead.
So you're the author of Driven. So what drives you, Mr. Dhingra?
What drives me, I mean, I I want to do newer things. I I mean, as I said, when you asked me the question about NIT, because that allowed me to do newer things, right? So when I came out, starting my own company was a new thing. I never thought I will become an entrepreneur, right? And it gave me a choice whether I continue growing the way I wanted to grow, or can I do different things in my company, right? Writing a book was a new thing for me. Then now I'm building a product that's a new thing for me. Um, whether it's a financially successful or not is a secondary question. Whether I'll sell 1,000 copies of the book or 10,000 copies of the book is not important for me. I wanted to do something, I did it. Now I want to my next chapter, I will do that. And so the newer and newer things, understanding what's happening in the world, um, that is, you know, that is important for me. Very important for me is to, even if I fail, I get up and start again. That's my mantra. Because that's what drives me. Newer things drives me. Success also drives you, but failure also should drive you. You know, that's that, because if you're always successful, then you don't learn. So if I'm disappointed one day, but that's the day. Next day I get up and say, okay, let's go forward. So that's why, I mean, the driven is is in me. I mean, I want to do newer things, and I don't know how long, but
Yeah, Jyotsna, are you done or you have
Yes,
more?
I'm done.
I think yes, that's all we have time for. Yeah, this was a wonderful conversation, and we enjoyed talking to you, Mr. Dhingra.
Thanks, Veena, and thanks for taking time and talking to me.
Thank you very much.
Very nice.
I